Tim, thank you. And then down front here. Afterwards.
Hello. Yeah, so with the separation, like going into the sleep state,
Yep.
it's actually not so much that your body, although it does need rest, it's not so much an automatic thing where your body just got to rest. It's more of a desire to actually go into the spirit world, is it?
No, it's a lot to do with the physical body needing rest. Your physical body, as a machine, needs rest. In particular, one of the primary reasons why it needs rest is because of our emotional injuries. The less emotional injuries we have, the less rest our material body is going to need. Does that make sense to everyone? Because the more you have emotional injuries, the more turmoil is going on in your body. Your body's systems are under complete stress emotionally, and they're also physically under stress. And the only time they get a relief from that stress is when you go to sleep. This is also why when you get tired, before you go to sleep, you often get grumpy, or other types of emotions like that start coming up. And that's because your facade, the more tired you become, the more difficult it is for you to maintain your facade. Does that make sense to everyone? Makes sense, doesn't it? Like, so what happens for the majority of us, we have a lot of difficulty maintaining our facade during our awake state. And then, of course, we get tired. Our body is getting depleted. It's not able to revitalise itself. The spirit body's connection with our body also is incomplete in the sense that all of the energy that the spirit body has can't be passed to the material body to keep it functioning correctly. And so what happens eventually is we desire to go to sleep. Now, there are certain things, spiritual things that can happen that interfere with that process. So one of those things, which is called nowadays called manic depression, but it's actually a spirit overcloaking, that can interfere with the process. In other words, a spirit can connect to your body through the silver cord, through the unhealed emotions of your soul. They can connect to your physical body and give your body energy, and therefore keep your body awake for longer periods of time. So a person who has manic depression will often, in their manic phase, which is actually their spirit-influenced phase, they will go through a higher degree of spiritual activity where spirits are pumping them full of energy, pumping their physical body full of energy, because the role that the spirit wants is the spirit wants to use the body as long as it can in that state to do whatever it wants. Often what it wants is sexual things and other things, doing all of those kind of things. Have you ever seen what's it called, The Private Lives of... There's a TV show called The Private Life of... United States of Tara, that's what it's called, yeah. It gives you a very good illustration of what happens with that sort of manic phase. And a person in that spirit influence phase will actually go into this place where they need very little sleep. And the reason why they need very little sleep is because the spirits are pumping them with the energy that they need to stay awake. However, there's a toll on the body. And so after a while, the spirits can no longer maintain the connection with the body doing this. And so what happens is the spirits lose the connection of supplying the body with energy, and instantly the body is unable to perform the most menial of tasks because it's so exhausted. And that's what they call the depressive phase of the illness of manic depression. And that is all because of how the body is not being able to be replenished and revitalised during the process of sleep, because sleep is only, usually in the manic phase for a manic depressed person, is only an hour or two a day. And so they're not getting the necessary sleep that their soul conditions, emotions demand for their body to replenish. So our soul condition affects the bodies in that the soul condition affects how the energy flows and how the revitalising energy flows within both bodies. Now, if the soul condition is quite dark and being suppressed and limited, then what happens is the bodies become very tired and exhausted. But usually in our mind, we're trying to deny that. But the tireder we get, the more difficult it becomes to acknowledge how exhausted we are fighting our emotions. And that's why we can't fight our emotions as well. And that's also why we have a tendency to get frustrated, irritated and angry when we get tired. Once you've dealt with those emotions. You will not get frustrated, irritated, or angry when you get tired. You'll just say, I'm tired, I need to have a sleep, and away you go, right? And that's the way it will be.